15% increase in lifetime earnings, 20% increase in likeliness to enroll into college, 67% reduction in economic gap. These are the numbers that quantify the value that BBBS's mentorship program brings to the youth. A very warm welcome to you all. I'm Mohammed Shiran. We're team We Push to Prod, and we'll be presenting our analysis on match longevity improvement. At the heart of Big Brothers, Big Sisters lies a simple but powerful idea that one meaningful relationship can transform a life. Youth are matched together with volunteer mentors to build relationships that lead to better grades, higher graduation rates, and brighter futures. But there's a challenge. While the intention is strong, many of these matches end far too soon, cutting short the potential impact. To quantify this, 2 out of every 5 matches end within a year, and 1 in every 10 matches, less than 1 in every 10 matches, end in a positive, planned way. That means most relationships never reach the point of real transformation. What is the problem here? There's limited visibility into what makes a match succeed. Emotional, behavioral, and external factors all play a role, and they're hard to track, let alone understand. We're not just losing matches, we're losing opportunities for impact. So we posed a question: how can we use both structured data like demographics and match details and unstructured data like support call notes to pinpoint the key factors influencing match longevity and closure outcomes? We wanted to find the patterns from structured and unstructured data that separate short term matches from lasting ones. And more importantly, we wanted to turn those patterns into action. A quick note before we get started: we grouped over 33 match closure reasons into 10 groups based on similarities in order to simplify the analysis. Our recommended solution framework spans the entire match lifecycle. First, for the matching phase, we propose improving the matching algorithm based on match success factors that we identified from the data. Second, during the match relationship, we introduce a predictive model that pinpoints high risk matches before closure and a revamped set of questions for the mentor and mentee to increase confidence in identifying closure factors quickly, paired with intervention strategies for at risk matches to ensure immediate action for resolution. And finally, for matches that close in an unplanned manner, we recommend rematching based on the improved mentor matching algorithm to ensure the youth's continued involvement in the program for long term success. We observed that demographic metrics strongly contributed to longer match durations. Our data showed that matches with an age difference greater than 18 years last about 7 months longer on average. We also found that sharing at least one demographic trait, such as ethnicity or gender, extends match length by roughly 5 months. These insights highlight the importance of strategic matching. We discovered that community matches typically outlast site based matches by around 9 months. This suggests that more flexible, community oriented meeting setups may help strengthen mentor mentee bonds and sustain the relationship over time. Based on these findings, our first recommendation is to incorporate these metrics into the matching algorithm so as to set up future relationships for success. Here's how having these attributes compared against those who don't. We condense the entire data into matches having optimal match conditions, having alignment on multiple demographics, having higher age differences, having shared interest, versus matches that don't meet these optimal conditions. As you can see, the average match length for this group is 24.1 months, notably higher than the following two groups. Where matches don't achieve these optimal matching conditions at all, the average match length is just 16.9 months. We noticed that around 75% of match relationships that closed belonged to the middle bucket, matched below optimal conditions. This presents a significant opportunity for BBBS to move future matches into the top buckets of the optimal matching conditions and reap the benefits of longer lasting matches. For current match relationships, our objective is to ensure sustenance. We seek to identify relationships that are at risk of closure and the possible issue behind them and act quickly to resolve these issues. To identify matches at risk of closure, we provide two tools. One, a match length prediction model to predict how much longer the match will last. Two, a structured set of questions for both mentor and mentee to identify signals for match closure based on evolving dynamics. To develop these solutions, we looked into data to identify common closure reasons and hidden signals in the data that contributed to these closure reasons. We observed that four closure reasons contributed to around 70 to 80% of historical closures consistently over time. And we conducted extensive analyses on these to uncover latent insights, be it emotional tones, sentiments, and common keywords that crop up during such closures. We feed these as predictive features into our match length prediction model and use the common keywords as a foundation to devising the targeted question set for mentors and mentees for identifying closure reasons. Beyond the data provided, we also extended into external data, the census data, to find large scale demographic patterns that may be influencing match closures. Justin will present our analysis on this.
To understand the effect of external factors on the internal data given by big brothers and big sisters, we looked at data from different sources like crime data, school data, and the census data. And we found out that some features from these data sources have a good correlation with the internal data and the features that we were trying to predict. A pretty intuitive one would be if the child came from a place where the percentage of renters were high, then the odds that the match would close due to relocation or move would be 3 times higher. Another one would be if the mentee came from a place where the percentage of people living below poverty was higher, then the chance that the match would close due to child family change circumstances was 5 times higher. Since we found out that these features help us in predicting variables like closure reason and match length, we included these into our model, and this boosted our model performance significantly.
Now, on to our most awaited part. What kind of questions should we be asking the mentors and the mentees? One of the biggest shifts we made is in redesigning the mentor mentee questionnaires and moving away from the flat parallel question structure, where coordinators simply tick off a list, into a more tree like dynamic decision framework. In the old model, every mentor or mentee was asked the same standard set of questions, regardless of their answers. This created three major issues. It missed context because each response wasn't explored deeply enough. It wasted time as irrelevant follow ups were often asked. Most importantly, it limited our ability to identify root causes or suggested targeted interventions. In contrast, our revamped approach mirrors clinical triage logic. Each question flows into a next only if relevant, and each response is mapped to a closure reason or a match risk type, like time constraints, lost contact, or relationship incompatibility. For example, if the mentor says, no, we are not meeting regularly, we don't just stop there. We go deeper into the why not. Their answer then guides us to the correct match issue category and eventually the right intervention. Similarly, if the mentor's response was yes, we would have a different set of questions to really gauge how the relationship is doing. Similarly, we would also ask the mentees or the parent and guardians similar questions, but we would keep it subtle because they need to also understand that we are questioning them about their children, so we wouldn't probably get all the answers we need. We would have it in a little bit more structured way, which captures nuance, recognize warning signs early, and also drive smarter follow up from match support staff. What's powerful here is that the output is not just a conversation, but a classification. It's a signal that points us towards an action.
So over here you can see the entire overview of our model. Now before I get into the model, I would like to take a moment and explain our sampling function. So we have created a custom sampling function which takes a match ID and truncates it at a random point. Now on top of this we have also added an oversampling mechanism which basically takes the same match ID again and truncates it at a different point. The idea over here is that in both of these cases, our algorithm should be able to predict the correct match length. Now on to the ML model. So Some of the key features which we have looked into are the sentiment and emotional tones. Now, along with the sentiment scores, we have also added a slope component, which basically gives us an idea on how these sentiment and emotional tones are changing as the match progresses on. Now, this entire model is built using XGBoost, and the final output is the total match length. Now, based on this match length, let's say if we figure out the match is gonna end anytime soon, we can make some targeted intervention on these matches, which would be explained in the next slide.
Now to the intervention strategy. Our targeted intervention strategy really stands out, and you'll probably understand why really quickly. Once we classify the match issue, we don't just leave it open ended. The second half of this framework is a targeted intervention strategy aligned to each closure reason. We have outlined tactical goals and concrete next steps for all six major categories. Time constraints. We recommend one on one coaching call with the mentors and reassess their capacity and flag them early for a rematch if needed. For relationship incompatibility, we initiate a mentor coaching plan with skill building resources and check in window. If it's volunteer or personal reason, we give them a pause plan to retain engagement without overwhelming them. In lost contact cases, we launched a structured three-step outreach flow, which consists of email, text, and call, before gracefully closing the match. These aren't just reactive, they are proactive and tailored, ensuring coordinators have clear protocols, not just open ended notes. Ultimately, this turns the conversations into decisions and decisions into actions, improving match longevity and closing gaps before they become exits. Thank you so much for being with us.